No team leaned into isolation basketball more than the Clippers last season. They didn't just lead the league in ISO possessions per game, they ran at least 2 more per game than the next team on the list, the Dallas Mavericks. To put that into perspective, the gap between the Clippers and Mavericks was actually wider than the gap between Dallas and the 7th-ranked team in isolation frequency, the Milwaukee Bucks. That tells you just how much the Clippers embrace ISO ball, which makes sense given the players they've got on their roster. And one player who is going to seamlessly fit into that system is new addition John Collins. While the Clippers led the league in ISO volume, they ranked only 5th in ISO efficiency, averaging 0.97 points per possession. The league's most efficient isolation team, the Suns, put up 1.05 points per play. That's where Collins becomes a perfect fit, a role player who not only thrives in isolation, but can elevate the team's efficiency in those situations. Take this clip, for example. Collins finds himself isolated against one of the NBA's premier wing defenders, Jaden McDaniels. McDaniels plays him tight, sliding his feet well, but Collins is more than skilled enough to navigate past McDaniels' pressure and work his way into the paint. Then, using his 40-pound size advantage, he calmly backs McDaniels down before flipping in a hook shot right over him. It's a textbook example of what Collins brings to the table. He's a forward who doesn't get nearly enough credit for his ball handling or ability to attack defenders off the dribble. And once he's near the rim, he's more than comfortable going to work, posting up and knocking down hooks or short jumpers, shots he's quietly refined over the years. And when you stack up Collins' ISO efficiency against Clippers players who ran at least 20 ISO possessions last season, he doesn't just fit in, he stands out. He was more effective in one-on-one scenarios than anyone on the roster. While he likely won't be a primary ISO option with Harden and Kawhi commanding most of the offensive attention, Collins gives the Clippers a deadly third option, a versatile scorer they can turn to when the stars are struggling or resting. In fact, next season, Collins could thrive in these ISO moments, especially with opposing defenses locked in on Kawhi and Harden. He has the speed and first step to blow by slower bigs and the touch to knock down jumpers right over them. And if a guard gets switched onto him, he has the physicality to bully them from the perimeter all the way to the rim and finish with a floater or soft touch in the lane. With Collins in the mix, expect that 13.1 ISO possessions per game the Clippers averaged last season to climb. But his impact goes far beyond isolation scoring. One of the most overlooked parts of his game is his off-ball movement. During his time with the Jazz, Collins was frequently used in off-ball screening actions, something we rarely saw during his stint in Atlanta. In fact, after joining Utah, he ran nearly 5 times more off-ball screening plays compared to his Hawks days, and he was highly productive in those situations. Last season, he averaged 1.20 points per possession on off-ball screens, more efficient than Tyler Herro, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Trae Young, and even Norman Powell, the very player the Clippers traded to get him. It's a part of his game that flew under the radar, especially for those who didn't catch many Jazz games last season. But make no mistake, it's an area the Clippers coaching staff should be seriously eyeing, especially when designing more off-ball actions heading into next year. Last season, the Clippers ran the exact same number of off-ball screening plays per game for Powell as the Jazz did for Collins. But here's the difference. They're now replacing Powell with a more efficient off-ball threat. Collins tied his career high in three-point shooting, knocking down 39.9% from deep, just a hair behind Powell's mark. But where Collins really separated himself was in the mid-range. Coming off screens, he shot nearly 6% better than Powell from that area. Hand in his face or not, he has the confidence to not only pull the trigger but make the shot as well. Just watch some of these clips. You can already picture the Clippers running those same off-ball sets, this time with Zubac as the screener and Collins curling around for open jumpers. And it doesn't always have to end in a jumper. Collins is smart enough to read the defense, use the screen as a decoy, and slip to the rim when defenders overcommit, just like he does here, slipping behind a drifting Kobe Brown for the easy 2. That kind of awareness and versatility makes him such a dangerous off-ball threat, a dynamic the Clippers didn't have last season, and one that's going to be a massive addition to their offense moving forward. And we haven't even talked about what he brings in pick-and-roll actions. Until now, the Clippers primarily relied on Zubac in those sets. While Zubac is a solid roll man, he doesn't bring the same versatility that other modern bigs like Jokic, Porzingis, or Miles Turner do, mainly because he lacks that pick-and-pop shooting threat. But with Collins, especially in lineups where he's playing the 5 while Zubac sits, the Clippers suddenly have a big who can do both. He can rise up as a vertical lob threat or pop out beyond the arc and knock down threes. And when you pair that with the on-ball gravity of Harden or Kawhi, it opens the floor wide open. Defenders have to respect the ball handler, and that creates massive space, whether Collins is rolling hard to the rim or flaring out for a 3. Either way, the Clippers now have a pick-and-roll option that can stretch defenses in ways they couldn't last season with Zubac alone. And let's not forget, Collins isn't just a screener. As we mentioned earlier in the video, he's skilled enough to initiate those pick and rolls too. So if teams try switching on a Collins-Zubac action, Collins has the handle and shot creation ability to exploit mismatches in isolation. Now, realistically, with Harden and Kawhi commanding the ball next season, we may not see a ton of that from him, but it's still another intriguing layer in the Clippers' offensive arsenal. Now, before we wrap up our offensive breakdown of Collins, we've got to highlight one of his most underrated weapons, his ability to create second-chance scoring opportunities. No, he's not putting up gaudy offensive rebounding numbers. He's averaging just 2.6 offensive boards per 36 minutes, which places him in the top 30% of the league. Solid, especially for a 6'9" forward. But it's what he does with those rebounds that sets him apart. Out of those 2.6 offensive rebounds per 36, Collins is generating 3.8 second chance points. That means, on average, he's converting nearly 2 out of every 3 offensive boards into actual points, a high-level efficiency that few can match. When you stack that conversion rate against some of the league's best offensive rebounding bigs, many of whom haul in more boards simply due to size, you'll see what makes Collins unique. They may get more rebounds, but they're not turning them into points like he is. Whether it's a quick putback, a smart kick out to an open shooter, or capitalizing on a scrambled defense after a missed shot, Collins consistently finds ways to turn chaos into points. It's a skill that often flies under the radar, but it makes a real impact. And honestly, we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to Collins' offensive game that we haven't even touched on, like his underrated playmaking when he puts the ball on the floor, or his ability to run the floor in transition, especially after contesting threes. These traits showcase just how relentless and opportunistic Collins is when it comes to finding ways to score, and they're exactly what Clippers fans should be excited about next season. But before we close things out, let me know what you think of the Clippers' move to bring in Collins. How would you grade the trade? And also some ideas on who I should do a breakdown on next. Love to hear your takes. As always, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all the support, and I can't wait to dive into more film with you next time.
John Collins races past Wallace. Oh, wicked! Up top and throws that over Hartenstein. And John Collins makes a statement.